G'day. Well, today's a pretty special day for me. I've been telling people for a very long time that I talk often and openly with my 16-year-old granddaughter Chloe, and she has amazing opinions. Can't imagine where she gets them, but she does. And I've asked her today to allow me to interview her, if you will, just so that people see the opinions of a very well versed younger person, because we always get how we feel and what we think about them. So today I'm going to introduce you to my granddaughter Chloe and let you hear the things that she has to say. Well, we've wandered down to our favourite patch of backyard, and I've encouraged, or enticed perhaps is a better word, my granddaughter to have a chat to me. Chloe's 16 and she has some really strong views on an awful lot of things. So Chloe, you and I were talking before we left home about drugs and alcohol in your generation. Do you think that there's a way to get away from it?
Well, I think that drugs and alcohol among our generation, they're becoming easier to get.
Yeah.
Which is, so therefore a lot of people are just wanting to give it a try, not knowing how serious it is and how easy it is to become addicted.
Yeah.
And I think also that people...
Where do you think it comes from, honey? What do you think makes kids that are healthy think that drugs and alcohol is the way to solve things or the way to go?
Well, I think it depends on... I think a lot of people in our generation think that drugs are used for confidence, to make you feel better, to get ahead in life.
And do you think that you think that's the way it really is?
Well, that's the way everyone sees them.
Wow.
They do not know that it can really, it'll affect you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Do you think they don't see that it could kill them? And
well, backgrounds have like a lot of, and bullying has a lot to do with it.
Yes.
Because drugs and alcohol are being used as an escape from...
Absolutely. And what do you think they're trying to escape from? Do you guys talk about, things in your own lives?
Well, me in year 10,
Yes.
I've known some people that
Yes.
have, and they use it to try and get a bit more confidence.
Yeah.
To get away from the stress.
And some people might say, what does a 16-year-old have to be stressing about? What would you say to that?
A lot.
Okay.
I think, well, this is the age where we're starting to get part-time jobs.
Yes.
And it's when our schooling starts to get crucial.
Yes.
And we start to choose subjects, and everything we do from here on in determines where we're going to be in, say, 5-10 years.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you think that pressure alone is just way too much?
And then I think that our friends they don't seem to put pressure, but there is. And then that's without saying that there isn't any problems going on at home. Yeah.
Do you think that problems in our homes has a lot to do with it, or a little to do with it?
I think it plays a major role in stress, because say, like, you go to school, and say if you come from a family that isn't very
functional,
and functional, you stress about, is there going to be like enough food to go around? Is there going to be yelling when I get home?
Yeah.
How can I help? Is this my fault?
Yeah. And you and I have talked about this, because you do tell me a lot about the things that go on in your day and in the lives of your friends. And I think that you were saying to me a couple of weeks ago that there just doesn't seem to be enough support for kids of your generation.
Yeah, and I think also one of the main things is kids and people like my age don't have, a lot of people don't have someone that they can talk to.
Yeah.
And I think that there isn't enough support there.
Yeah.
And people that have got problems going at home don't want to talk to an adult.
Yeah, because of the whole superiority thing, yeah.
Because then they feel like they're being judged. And that's at least what you need.
But do you talk to your friends? Do friends talk to friends, or do they feel, I don't want to share it because I'm going to be judged?
depends who your friends are. If you
Yeah.
have a friend that is going through something that's similar to your situation, you talk. But if depends on the severity of the situation.
Yeah.
And some people, they get angry and stuff and they don't want to tell
Yeah.
anyone about it.
Yeah.
Or their friends will judge.
Yes. Now sorry, Chloe. You were telling me, we're talking over one another. It's dreadful. It's a grandmother's worst nightmare to interview her granddaughter. You were telling me that there was a program you did at school that you felt was really beneficial. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Actually, it was the start of this year. We did a program called Seasons for Growth that it shows how to overcome your problems, and it relates your problems to the seasons.
Yes.
So it'll get cold and dark in the winter.
Yes.
And then after all of that, the sun comes out again.
Yes.
And you've got to get through the cold times to have fun
to get
with
the sunlight come back. So I guess in essence what they're teaching you is, like the seasons, everything changes.
Yeah.
And we really only get out of life what we put in. Now another thing that I know you've been really vocal about is the homelessness in this country and our government's lack thereof of tending to it. Do you want to share with me and the people that listen to my clips your take on how in this country there is homelessness?
Well, I think that homelessness in this country, it's not something that gets addressed very often. No one really cares about anyone. It doesn't bother them. They've still got a home to go to at the end of the night. Like, they've got somewhere that they can make food, and they don't have to worry about where they're going to go after they've finished doing whatever.
Absolutely.
Their kids have somewhere to go to sleep at night.
Yes.
See, I think the government of Australia have so much money. They own our whole country.
They pretty much do, darling.
And so if they really cared and really wanted to make a difference, they would.
Yes.
Instead, they use their money on useless things that don't have anything to do with, like,
the typical Aussie.
Yeah, it's not going to benefit us
in any way. You made a comment to me this morning about Julia Gillard, which shut the gate. I was just so impressed.
Because most of the homeless people, in my opinion, aren't there because they're bad people.
Absolutely not.
They're there because mental illness,
yes,
abuse, and they've run away.
Yes.
And families even girls my age that run away because they couldn't handle it.
Yes.
But if a homeless person was to swap with Julia Gillard, and Julia Gillard was made homeless for a week, and the homeless person was doing everything that Julia Gillard did and not even paying any attention to them.
To what's real Australia's going through.
Julia Gillard would wish and wonder why the person who's in charge of our whole country isn't doing anything to help them.
Bravo. Now, that's a very true statement. Your generation, and like my generation, which is way before yours, our government should be who is giving us what we need, and that's us Aussie people. And you, like me, know that by and large there's a lot of Aussies that really are battling. Now, I also asked you about teen suicide. You had plenty to say on that and how kids end up there.
Well, I think teen suicide is the worst that could come of anything.
Yes.
And too many young people are taking their lives thinking that
there's nowhere else.
There's nowhere else to go, there's no one to talk to. And it's sad to think that we're losing so many young lives, and how many lives is it going to take
before they listen?
Everyone to listen.
Yes.
And do something about it. How many people is it going to take?
Well, darling, I wish I could answer that for you, but as you know, I've been screaming asking the same question for a very long time. But you said to me this morning that you felt there was maybe a tougher time for this generation because of the judgments and the peer pressures and, as you say, the domestic violence and all of that. But you came up with an idea about a website today. You want to tell me a bit about that?
I think the main, even to suicide, the main thing that gets people to that extreme is the fact that they have no one to talk to.
Yes.
And even if there is domestic violence at a home, you get angry.
Yes.
And you bottle it up.
Yes.
So, because you've got no one else to talk to.
Yeah.
And then eventually someone says the wrong thing or something, and you take everything out of them.
Yes.
And then they get other people get bullied.
Yes.
And then they can commit suicide because they've been bullied.
Yes.
But the person that's bullied them is because they have no one to talk to.
And to tell how they were feeling.
If we could put together a website run by people that
from your generation, maybe.
Our generation.
Yep.
That have no adults, like, to like create the website.
Yes.
But have peers like run the website. So
sounds like an incredibly good idea.
You could either chat anonymously.
Yes.
And seek advice that way, so you don't feel as though someone's gonna know and
yes.
you feel embarrassed. Or talk to people your age that are in a similar situation and share ways that they got through it.
I think that's a great idea. I think kids need to feel safe.
Yeah.
And I think you need to be able to know that you can talk about exactly what the problem is rather than putting a mask on to go to school and then another mask, to come home. And I think that holds such an enormous lot of merit. So you also said to me today, Julia Gillard needs to realise that it's your generation that would one day run this country.
Yeah.
I think that was a profoundly incredible statement. Yeah. So if you could say one thing to Julia Gillard about what you think would aid your generation, what would that be?
I think Julia Gillard as any Prime Minister, and they associate with people that don't go through many of these struggles. I think she needs to put herself and spend some time with some people.
Bravo, kiddo, bravo.
Among this country, because there are a high rate of people in this country that have problems, that suffer depression, that are homeless, that come from a household where they've been abused, a dysfunctional family, separated. And I think
she needs to step up.
She needs to experience this, and she needs to put some time towards this, because that's what makes up Australia.
Good girl.
There's not just the people that own their own home and have full-time jobs and their parents are still together. And she needs to fund some money into these people that aren't going to do well in life.
Well said, Chloe. Well, you know what? As always, I always learn more from you than I can anywhere else in the world when it comes to matters on your generation. So thank you for giving me part of your Sunday, and I hope that people hear, maybe hearing it from you, because I'm sure they hear it from me one too many times and just go, oh, she needs to scramble the CD. But you've always made me believe that you're an amazing generation of kids, you and your friends, the ones I've met. You have such probable messages and possible ideas, if only we can get our government to listen. So I'm going to end this now, but I really appreciate it, Chloe. And so from everybody, be good to yourselves and each other. And what do we say, Chloe? Say hi to your kids for me. Ta-da. See ya.